Fantastic, fantastic. So I think we're live now. Hello, everybody.
Uh,
Thank you once again for joining us today on yet another fantastic episode of the African Integrative Agricultural Network. And so, on today's episode, we are having a very vital conversation, and our guest today is a phenomenal person. And she's just going to be teaching us more about, the roles of youth in transforming agriculture in Nigeria. See, guys, I one of the reasons why I had to bring our guest is simply because she is someone that is known as the agricultural educator. And in times that we are right now, people sort of don't do stuff like that because it's not really fancy. But for her to have taken up that to say, okay, if I want to make it my life mission to reorient people about agriculture, I feel like that's something really noble. So without further ado, I'm going to just read out her bio for you guys to really know the kind of personality that we have here today. And my guest, her name is Ade Delakbo Jespa. Funny enough, you're the first female person I'm seeing bearing Jespa there, but Jespa, yeah. Yeah, it's like really, really unique though. She's fondly agric educator. She's a trailblazer. She's a trailblazer, and she set out to empower young people here to towards agriculture. Jesper has a bachelor's in agricultural extension and rural development, and certification in from Soilless Farm, which happens to be one of the biggest agricultural firms in Nigeria. And also, she has a certification in adult education, innovation adoption, and to name a few. Jesper combines academic excellence with hands-on experience to drive agricultural transformation. She's deeply passionate about bridging the gap between agricultural innovation and grassroots implementation, which is something I see that there's a lot of gap there, and it's good to know that she's doing that. She's deeply passionate about bridging that gap, and as well as community development with cutting edge practices and sustainable solutions. She is the founder of Agric Educator Community. Uh, Ade Dalakwa has created a platform that educates and equips undergraduates with practical skills, internship opportunity, and career guidance to thrive in the agricultural sector. Her community fosters collaboration amongst stakeholders, empowering a new generation of agriculturists to tackle the food security challenge hands on. With no further ado, ladies, please, and gentlemen, please, a round of applause for my guest today. Jesper, thank you for coming on. I'm so
Thank
glad
you.
and excited to have you here on board with us today. I'm so super super glad. So let's just delve into the conversation. So my very first question to you today is, why do you think agriculture is a game changer for Nigeria economy, and how can the Nigerian youth tap into this opportunity?
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to say good morning to everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I mean, I'm also excited to be here. Right, it's always a privilege to be able to share, with people of like minds, right? So thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I'm going to be killing with a lot of thank yous right now. It's my turn to do my own back. Right. Okay, so the question of the day, why do I think agriculture is a game changer for Nigerians' economy? In simple English, because agriculture has the potential, to game
Yes.
change Nigeria's economy, right? Because it addresses critical issues like food security, unemployment, and
Mhm.
especially industrialization. See, Nigeria
Very true.
is a country that the agricultural sector alone, I mean, 70% of Nigerians are doing agriculture at some level, no matter how
Yeah.
small, right? And
True.
then the sector has the capacity to actually drive economic growth and reduce poverty. Do you see? So
Very
it is
true.
just that if Nigeria would choose, to leverage on their vast arable land and diversify
Mm.
into beyond agriculture, look into agribusiness. Do you see? We can
Mm.
reduce dependence on oil, we can build a resilient economy. I mean, look at the time before Nigeria became Nigeria, when we were still existing as regions before amalgamation. We had regions, we existed as different regions, right? And these regions had a produce that was specific to them. We had the granite pyramid of Kaduna, we have the cocoa, the cocoa house that was for the West, which was in Ibadan. Do you see? And then we had palm oil. I think that was for the Easterners. So we have
Yeah.
what it takes, to sustain the Nigerian economy, right? So
True.
it's a long value chain. It's a vast space that, if we're just going to open our eyes to see the advantages and opportunities that we have as Nigerians, I mean, we'll do better in our economy as a people.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So the next question here is, what's holding the young Nigerians back from delving into agriculture? What do you think is holding them back?
Hmm. So if you ask me, I think it's a mindset thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's a mindset thing. It's a perception thing because most people view agriculture from the standpoint of, oh, it's unprofitable, or it's labor
Mm-hmm.
intensive, or it's for the
Yeah.
poor masses, or it's a retirement plan. Nobody is actually seeing the opportunities that lies within the agricultural sector. Do you see?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because of that perception, people are not able to tap into it. I mean, for me,
Mm-hmm.
when I was in school, I think one of the reasons that actually shaped my career path or my career choice was being able to see beyond what was obtainable in agriculture, what was the
Yeah.
conventional expectation or perception of people. I mean, I entered
Mm-hmm.
agriculture with I knew what I wanted to do when I was studying. I studied agriculture, by the way. So before, while I gained admission and then I wanted to study pharmacy and medicine, and then Nigeria happened and there were a lot of other issues. It was my stubbornness that landed me there anyway. Because I got a scholarship to study at University of Hungary, University of Ankara to study medicine. That's a different story. But then I found myself in a school and I had to pick, make a choice, and then I was given agriculture. You see, but my first year, I spent my first year researching anything researchable. I was really
Mm,
constantly looking for knowledge because I gave myself a 5-year plan. And I'm like, in the
mm,
next 5 years, what would I be doing with agriculture? Because I'm a kind of person who is driven by excellence. If I'm going to do something, let me do it and do it well. It's been the
yeah.
order of my life since a very young age. So I knew when I was entering agriculture what I wanted to do. Just
Mm,
my
yes.
perception was different from other people. There are people who were in the same faculty as me, who were there because, well, life landed them there, and they weren't able to
Yeah.
make lemon from the lemon that life threw them. And we're like, oh, we're just here, we'll graduate eventually. But what's the guarantee
Mm,
that I'm going to get my certificate? And there was just this lackadaisical attitude to learning. And if you are
yeah.
like that, you would not be able to make much difference. Do you see?
True.
So it's important that the perception is changed, right? How do
Mm,
we view culture? What are the things that we see that we can do? I mean, what do we have in our hands? Let's take away oil. If oil was not an option, what would we be doing as Nigerians? Do you see?
that's a
If we
good
don't
question.
have crude oil, what would we be doing? So these are things that should drive our innovation. These are things that should drive our thinking. So I think it's a first of all a perception problem. The secondly, I would say access to resource, right? They're
Mm,
limited access to, land funding, mentorship. These things discourage people. I mean, if you want to do agriculture, you're going to have an entrepreneurial spirit. An entrepreneurial
yeah.
spirit without money to back it up is like a beautiful dream. Do you see? So you
Mm,
must have access to resource that helps you, be able to play in certain sectors. Do you see? And then knowledge gap.
yeah.
Many young people lack awareness of modern agriculture practices and opportunities. They just don't know. They don't know. They don't know what to do. What's the next thing to do? Okay, you're learning. What's the next thing to do? How do you do this? What do you need to be? What do you need to do? To get the things that you need to get done, and just so that you are able to keep pushing and pushing. So it's first a perception problem, and then there's access to resource, and then there's a knowledge gap. So I think that's what is really holding Nigerians back from exploring agriculture.
Fantastic. Last week when I interviewed Mr. Ademola, he had mentioned this whole thing about mentorship, right? And hearing you talk about it again, I think it's also like a really valid thing that we need to look into as well. Uh, so my next question to you now is: how can young people use simple tools and technology to improve farming and agribusiness? Young people.
Okay, so I think it's basically them understanding that everything is at your disposal. Everything. And
Mm,
when I mean everything. I like to tell young people that technology is not here to compete with human mind. It is not. There's a place of technology,
mm,
there's a place of the
yeah,
human mind being able
yeah.
to use technology. I mean, it was a human mind that created technology. So how can technology be competing with the mind of a human? Do you see? So it
Mm,
means that if we are able to use our brains, we will be able
yeah.
to birth innovative ideas, birth innovative solutions, create
Mm-hmm.
things with our mind. So we can leverage simple tools, mobile apps, there are apps, platforms like farm crowding,
Mm,
connect farmers to investors. There's the
mhm.
I think it's Thrive Greek that does this
Yeah.
finance thing for farmers, small scale farmers, right? There are a lot of tools. We can use Internet of Things and
Mm.
drones. People use drones now, to carry out farm activities where they
Yeah.
can monitorize, monitor soil health, drones that assist pest control, surveying, they do irrigation. So these are things that you know we can leverage on internet instead of spending all the time on TikTok and Facebook and TikTok and Instagram, right? Spend it researching. Look at the solutions that you can birth. Just by I tell people, social media is one great tool that we have in this generation that we can use to our advantage. I tell people all the time,
Yes.
the best resource, the place you can get resource without paying a dime, all you need to have data, is on YouTube. GC, you would learn
Mm,
a course of authority in a particular field just by leveraging YouTube. Do you understand? So we just
true.
have to see that everything is at our disposal. Let's use it well,
Yeah.
right? Let's use it well. There's also affordable
Mm,
technology. You can afford drones or afford to build a mobile app or maybe to subscribe to certain courses. You can adopt solar powered irrigation system, low cost greenhouse
mm,
setups. Greenhouses are already here to help us ensure that we have an all year round production. I mean, you don't have to have
yeah.
galvanized poles. You can set up okmaru. I don't know if you know what it's called okmaru. This bamboo sticks that they use for building.
Yeah.
Just put it there and put nets
Yeah.
around it. That's a greenhouse. Do you understand? So we can
Mm,
do affordable technology. It's just about us seeing that we have things at our disposal that can work for us and then handling it well.
wow. I think that in you answering this question, you sort of also gave, how people can change their mindset around it. Because when we started out the conversation, it was just basically around how young Nigerians can then think of agriculture differently. Thank you so much for sharing that. So my next question to you is, um, how can young people turn farming or agriculture or agribusiness into something that is more profitable, just more than subsistence? Because when you started out this morning, you said people think of it and say it's retirement plan. People think of it and say it's bold and cutlass. It's like a struggle. It's like a laborious activity. So, but how can young people start thinking of agriculture from the business side of it, the agribusiness side of it, as a more profitable venture and not just a subsistence thing?
Okay, so thank you very much for that question. I think the answer would be understand that you need information. That's the first place to start, right?
Mm.
Agriculture is a long value chain. It's beyond just
Mm,
farming,
yes.
carrying and hoes. It's a long value chain. So I like to tell people, look at your skills. Ask yourself the
Mm,
what, why, when, and how questions. What do I want to
yes.
do? Where are my strengths, mostly pronounced? Where do I see myself
Mhm.
going? How can I leverage on my strength to ensure that I get to where
Yeah.
I'm going? Questions that you ask yourself. And I tell people that you have to be able to. Agriculture is the only sector, and I say this with all confidence. Agriculture is the only sector that
Yeah.
encompasses every other sectors.
True. True.
Because in agriculture, there's communication. In agriculture, there's
Yeah.
PR. In agriculture, there's finance. In
Yeah.
agriculture, so you have to just see what your strengths are. The reason why I chose agric education was because I knew that I had a strong communication skill. I could sell anything. I could sell in mindset. I could
Mm,
sell in could sell a goods, I could market anything. Do you understand? And I
Mm.
figured that from while I was in school, I would gather my peers and we'll just take courses. So we'll learn in class together. I confront the teacher with my questions because of course I was like, prepared before coming to class. I had like four other universities I was getting materials from. So I was very
Mm.
serious about it. Do you understand? So I knew what I was doing. I knew what I wanted to do. And I would get resources and I would read them and I would come to class. I'm looking out for what I don't understand that I've not read and my teacher is going to say next. Right. And we're preparing for exam. My friends they are at my apartment, and then I'm teaching them like I'm the lecturer because I have a very photographic memory. So once I listen to you, all I need to do is pay attention when you're teaching. Once I pay attention, everything you say sticks to my brain. And then by the time I'm reading, it feels like I'm watching you teach again. And then I go in for my exams.
Mm.
So I mean, I'll gather my friends and then I would teach them. We'll discuss topics, we'll research, go outside of our school curriculum, and just read, just so that we could be excellent. Not just because we wanted to pass exams, but because I knew that there was
Mm.
a place that was beyond just having a good grade. It was being able to be an authority in the field that I've chosen. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
it's about us understanding the different value chains. I mean, as at the time I started branding as agric educator, nobody was wearing that sleeve. Now, because of the kind of things I'm doing, people are beginning to identify, oh, I'm also an agric educator. I can teach agriculture. I just laugh. I mean, I'm glad that I'm able to pave that way for people to walk in, right? But then it's about just understanding the different value chains and where your strength best applies. You understand?
Mm.
I'm
Yes.
very good with hands-on skills, but I'm a baby girl for
Yeah.
life. What's that? So
Mm.
I may not be in the sun, I may not carry the cutlass or carry the king, but I have a sense to set up strategy that can help your business work. Do you understand? So these are
Yeah.
things that we need to see. Do you understand? So you can say, oh, I want to play this. I want to play, as an aggregate. What are the problems that agriculture people are facing, or these farmers are facing? Oh, they don't have access to market. Okay, they don't have access to market. Why is that? Oh, bad roads. What happens to their goods because
Mm.
of bad? There's post harvest losses. Okay, let me be the one who builds a storage facility for these guys, and I go there, collect their
Mm.
produce, they sign up a corporation deal, and then their products are there. I'm safeguarding them in the storage, and they're able to sell all year round. That's the value chain.
Mm.
You can
Yes,
say,
it is.
oh,
Yes.
we are producing, and then, oh, we feel like this is not going to, okay, what can we do to this thing so that it doesn't get lost? Okay, let's begin to process it. And you stay in the
Yes.
process. So let's say you want to process
Mm.
beans. Different ways you can process beans. You want to dry it, you want to blend it for people to get it as powder, you want to peel the shaft and make the shaft into
Yeah.
meals for cows. This is a value chain.
Yes,
So
it
you just
is. Yeah.
you just have to see where your strength best applies and stay there. Oh, you
Mm.
don't want to okay, you want to help farmers be able to convey their goods from the farm to the market. You want to play in the logistic lines. Can you leverage, a franchise, the logistic companies, be a partner with them, get a percentage on their deliveries. That's a value chain.
Yes,
Right?
it
So
is.
it's about us seeing where our strength best applies and playing there smartly. Because agriculture is beyond,
Mm.
it has moved from agriculture, just the rearing of farms and animals, to being able to think business strategy, being able to set up structures that can keep
Yeah.
things running without you being there. And then you're able to build a lifelong wealth system. You see, so there are
Yes.
a lot of things that we can do. You just have to understand where you are. Do you want to play real estate? There's
Mm.
what they call cultural real estate now, where people just buy land and then some
Yes.
people
Yes.
farm,
Yeah.
and then they get
Mm.
ROIs. Do you understand? So there are different value chains in this industry that people can actually explore. So the thing is, money is not always a problem. Money is not always a problem. The thing is, have you
Mm.
figured out what you want to do, where you can play, how you can play, to be able to attract the kind of result that you want to get? So if you're able to find all of the answers to all of these questions, then it will be easier to get started.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I like how you just succinctly put and deliver your answers. There's a quote that I know that says that if we must go further, we must stand on the shoulders of them that have gone ahead of us. Sometimes I feel like most people within the agricultural space, their stories are not well told, and that's like part of the reasons why that's why I decided that I would do this podcast and just have people see that there are people within this space that are doing great things. And so this it's pivoting towards my next question, which is uh, there are success stories of Nigerian youth or Nigerian people that are within the agricultural sector, and what we can learn from them. Are they success stories that you are conversant with or that you are aware with that you could sort of just share for anyone that is listening? Because most people, like you said, it's an information or a knowledge gap, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so most people are not aware that there are so many key game changers or key players within the agricultural space that are hitting it big. Apart from Dangote, that we know that Dangote, salt and pasta and stuff like that. But aside
Right.
Dangote, there are other guys that are key players. I know you mentioned a couple of the apps. But people think of it just the tech area. But holistically, are there key stories of people that have also done great things within agriculture? So just share, if you know about them, just sort of share with us so that people can learn.
So yeah, thank you. There are a lot of success stories around. There are a lot of people that we can learn from. But I'll just highlight two for us. People that I'm conversant with,
Okay.
and I'll mention my boss,
Okay.
right? Farmer Sam, Farmer Sam Ogbole, right? That's the team
Yeah.
lead at Soles Farm Lab, right? I mean, Farmer Samson was never a
Yeah.
farmer. He studied microbiology. Mm,
Mm.
yeah, that's what he studied, and then he went for internship at RIT, and then he
Wow.
was just able to figure something out, and say, oh,
Mm.
agriculture is something that we can also leverage on. What's even happening here? Let's look at it. And he started off
Mm.
by doing hydroponics, doing test farming on the walls in the air, while
Mm.
at RIT, because RIT is a research institute as well. So they were trying a
Yes.
lot of things, trying a lot of innovation, and it was just plugged in, and he was able to build something. So and it was in RIT for I think 2 years, if not more. I think 2 years.
Mm.
When he was there, he was learning, he was seven, and that's to say something to young people these days. And people just feel like you want to blow. I say we don't blow in agriculture. We don't used to blow.
Mm.
We didn't normally blow. What we do is we grow through
Mm.
our, because there's always something to learn
We
at
grow.
like, yeah, we grow through our seasons.
Yes.
So if you're coming into agriculture, that's why I see people who just hear about a particular opportunity in agriculture and they just jump on it because they want to take money. There's this money, the money just go, fish farming is what is make selling now. Everybody just rush their head. I got put money in fish farming. They fail woefully because you won't even know when you're being cheated because you don't even have understanding of what you're getting yourself into. So
True.
knowledge is the first thing. Actually, knowledge is, and also the availability to be able to serve and learn.
Mm.
See, internships and volunteering are a very good opportunity for you to gather hands-on experience, to gain skills,
Yeah.
and when you're serving
Mm-hmm.
other people, you're able to pinpoint, check out your own errors, and say, "Oh, I thought I knew this." Oh, okay,
Mm.
there's a different approach to doing this, and then you're able to just check out those points, and then you come out refined. By the time you're done interning, you're coming out as a person who has gained experience, who has more knowledge, who can stand and be an authority. Actually,
Yeah.
but there's a madness going on with volunteering now. Everybody just wants to be heard that they are volunteering somewhere, and nobody's really looking at how to volunteer
Mm.
anymore. So I like to tell people, ask yourself the
Mm.
fundamentals question: where am I going? What do I want to achieve? Why am
Yes.
I here?
Mm.
Ask yourself, why am I here? Before you volunteer for an organization, ensure that their goals align with your long-term goals. Don't just be everywhere.
Mm.
I mean, imagine if something was volunteering or was interning at a restaurant. Imagine he went to
Mm.
intern at a supermarket. He probably would not have been exposed to the kind of things that he was able to learn. I mean, he's one of the
Yes.
people now who is able to train 1,000 Nigerians quarterly on soilless agriculture,
Yes.
hydroponics. Do you understand? So these are stories that people really need to go and research and read about. I mean, it wasn't always big. It was never always big. It was just
Yeah.
a lab person, a microbiologist working in the lab at RITA, interning,
Mm.
serving, doing what he was going to do. And then, as God will have it, he grew through that season. And then he applied for MasterCard grants and he got it. And he's established something that generations will live to talk about. Do you understand? I mean, I'm a product of that
Yes.
program. Do you see? So we must be able to, subject ourselves to learning and have the mindset that there's nothing like blowing quick quick. And I tell people, if you are really growing, if you're doing the work, by the time you blow, you will not know it. It's people watching you from outside
Yeah.
that will tell you that you are blowing, because your focus is
Yeah.
not on the end. Your focus is on becoming a better person, so growing through the seasons. Do you see this? So
Yes.
this is how we are
I
able
agree.
to become better people, and then leverage on ourselves to be better. And then I think another story I know of, I think is Agrodemi, Lucia Nyagolu. I think she's a team lead of
Mm,
Agrodemi. She's the first person to establish a virtual education system for agriculture in Africa, or I think in Nigeria. I can't remember right now. Right? And how did it start?
mm,
She just started by creating courses, curating materials. As she was gathering knowledge, she was compiling them, and she set them up as courses on our website that people could learn. So that's the value chain. So she
mm,
understands the value chains. She brought the value chains, put it into document format, and then she shares with the world. So there's hardly nothing you are looking to learn as far as processing is concerned, that you will not find on our
mm,
website. Just
mm.
about you
That's
being able
good.
to find where your skills best align and playing
Mhm.
excellently there. I mean, there's Farm Crowdy. I can't remember their team lead's name now. Farm Crowdy revolutionized how farmers access funding through digital platform. Farm Crowdy was one to create an app where you can connect farmers to funding in
Mm,
Nigeria before an Indian company came to buy them out. I'm sure they are working now, but I don't think they do this public ROI thing that they do anymore. Do you see? There's Code Hubs. Code Hubs provides solar powered cold storage to reduce post harvest losses. There are people who are doing excellent things in this industry. You just need to be able to find them, and read about them and then be inspired. And let their story not just inspire you to make money or inspire you to be big, but inspire you to identify your own process, identify a problem you want to solve, help you innovate to solve that problem, and grow through the process that you're working on.
fantastic. I like how you put it that in agricultural sector we don't blow but we grow through our process. And I think that quote is a quotable quote. And it is not just applicable to agricultural sector. I think in life generally, that we as individuals we grow through our process and our seasons. And
Yeah.
so yeah. So thank you so much for sharing that. As we have this conversation, I would say that one thing that is coming up as like a common thread, even as you answer all those questions, is still knowledge knowledge gap, bridging that knowledge gap, seeking information, and then leveraging on your strengths. It's just like from what you've said now, it looks as though like regardless of what you say your level of expertise is, or where you say is what you have skill sets in. There is somewhere within agricultural sector that skill you have is really applicable. So
Yeah.
you don't have to sort of let go of your skill set or your strengths and then say, "Oh, I'm picking up from scratch." No, what you have
Exactly.
can be used.
Exactly. Exactly. Because I mean, some
What
of us
you
have.
have,
It's just the way. Yeah, it's just the way you would want to categorize the intelligent quotient of people, right? There are people who are mechanically
yeah,
inclined, who would do anything mechanical.
yeah,
I'm not in that class. Sorry.
yeah.
Right? There are
Mm,
people not like I don't know it. I can handle, of course, I went to school, so you could be on the farm, you could work. The people who, what they can do really is they can do the work, the manual labor, they can do it. There are some of us that are just like this, that we really can't
mm,
last 2 hours on the farm.
mm,
And it's not
yeah,
because we're lazy, it's because it's not exactly the area of our strength. So imagine I know
yeah.
that I don't have that kind of manpower to do this, and I don't have finance to employ labor to do it for me. I don't want to go and handle a 5 acre size of farm. Everything will go bad.
Mm,
Because first of all, I don't have
mm,
the skill set to manage that kind of mass.
yeah.
Do you see? So I don't
Mm,
I had the finance, I could say, okay, I will employ people and they would work for me, I'll pay them salary. And that in itself is not always profitable because you have to be able to monitor what your laborers are doing to even get effective
Yeah.
results from what they're doing. So understand where you are. All of us, I tell people, all of us will not be producers. We already have people
Yes.
producing. What is happening to what they are producing? What are the processes?
Mm.
I say, we cannot all be rich in this country. If we are rich, who will sell pepper for me? Who will make my shoes when they go bad? It's just us being able to effectively leverage on our strength and healthily depend on ourselves to ensure that we actually live a stable life. And the same it is for
Mm.
agriculture. We will not all be producers. We will not all be processors.
Yes.
Do you see? So there are different
Yes.
things that we do, and we just need to see where the juice is and then take advantage of those strengths. I mean, that's the first thing to do. If you're doing anything you do, just understand how does my strength best because your strongest point is going to be like your weapon on days where you get tired. It's just like
Yeah.
somebody who wants to get married and you don't have a conviction about the person you're getting married to. If anything happens, you'll be thinking of leaving the marriage because first of all, you don't even have a conviction to say, oh, this is what I mean. If
Yeah.
something goes wrong, you like, I know the reason I married you wasn't just imagine you married somebody because of money and then money now disappeared.
Mm.
How will you now do? You will now run
Mm.
after you understand? So we have to be able to see something beyond the proceeds of what we're looking to get. To be able to actually thrive in a particular industry. And agriculture is that kind of place where you must be able to count your costs very well. Am I ready for this? And then make a decision with yourself.
Mm.
And then on the days when it gets tough, you can tell yourself and say, I signed up not because it was going to be easy. And then your convictions fuels your passion all over again, and you are able, to pick up yourself and then keep running. You're tired, you're weary, but then you keep running because you know that you have an end goal in mind, and you're determined to get there, no matter what.
Fantastic. I like how you use all the different analogy, and the analogies that you use tend to be very relatable. So it's not far fetched. People can just see themselves in those illustrations. So I think we have two more questions to answer. I'll let you go. My next question to you is: what role can young Nigerians play in making sure that we have enough food for everyone and reduce food waste? What role can young Nigerians play?
Okay. So what roles? The roles Nigerians can play, there are a lot of them. But the first thing is
Mm.
Nigeria's problem majorly when it comes to agricultural sector is we have a lot of food wastage problems. We have a lot of food wastage issues, right? Let's innovate storage solutions. Let's develop affordable storage systems,
Mm.
minimize post-harvest losses, because farmers are producing. I mean, I was recently on a research. I mean,
Mm.
AMAS, our cohort research or cohort project was us being
First
able
year.
to solve harvest losses for farmers. And by the time we got to Badagry and to Agbara, we realized that these farmers were actually producing. The issue is each
Mm.
time they produce, they have a very heartbreaking, you know, loss.
Post harvest
Do you
loss.
see? Post harvest loss. And their problem, all of them had the same thing to say. And it was like,
Mm.
most times they cannot sell. Sometimes the season, there's climate change, they are not able to produce at the time. And when they do, most of them goes bad. So let's innovate storage solutions. That technology that we are thinking that is here to compete with us, let's compete with it. And use it to solve those problems.
Mm.
You understand? Because technology is here
Yeah.
to stay. And it's not compared to what the human mind can birth. I tell people, if the human mind created technology, there's nothing the human mind cannot do. You just have to put it to
Yes.
work. Put it to work,
Mm.
right? Another thing we can do is we can promote sustainable practices, advocate for crop rotation, organic farming. I'm currently taking a course, a certification course on organic certification, and it's about understanding that there's a difference between organic farming and GAP. They are two different
Yeah.
things. So most people mistake organic farming for good agricultural practices. No, they're two different things. So we have to be able to promote good agricultural practices and also promote organic farming. I mean, most of the
Mm.
have today is because I was reading a research paper recently, and I was reading about how people were talking about, oh, in the coming years we're going to be having to do genetically mutilated food, and I'm like, there'll be such a high level of cancer in the world because
I'm telling you,
how
yes.
and you cannot guarantee the nutrient efficiency in some of those foods that have been created because they will have gone through different processes, just like you eating food that was made from X-rays or infrared lights.
Mm.
You won't compare it to eating something that was planted freshly, right? So there are some things we need to do.
Yeah.
Nigeria has become a dumping ground for most of these countries to come and dump their pesticides and dump their fungicides, something they cannot use in their own
Mm.
countries. Do you see? And they're doing us a harm because they will always have residual effect on our fruits, on our vegetables, and when they will eat them. We now have a generation of lazy people
Yeah.
who are able to go to the farm and to go and buy vegetables in the market and cannot get them to wash and cut. So you bought something that is substantial,
Mm.
that is already infested, and then you buy it in the market and then you cut it and you get it home, you rinse out the remaining little nutrient that is inside of it.
Oh, my Lord.
So we have to be able to, promote organic farming. Let's promote good agricultural practices. These are things that would help us in the coming years. In the coming years, I thought nobody's coming to save Nigerians. Nobody's coming to save us in Africa. Let's save ourselves. We have what it takes. We have what it takes. Let's save ourselves, especially in the area of our food. Let's save ourselves. Let's not always,
Mm.
we can't just be receiving whatever is dumped here. Africa is not a dumping ground. Let's reject that. It is not a
Yeah.
dumping ground. Let's stand up and be counted, create something that we can also export to the world.
Yes.
Do you see? So these are things that we
Yeah.
need to look into. Let's promote sustainable practices and then educate communities, share knowledge on proper food handling,
Mm.
on preservation, on storage. I was at Balagri. I was talking to a farmer in Balagri the other day, and one of her heartbreaking challenges that she shared with me was the fact that she didn't have access to information. I mean, she was running a very large cucumber farm, with sweet corn farm, very large, and then looking at her farm, she was doing well. And they were like, Mama, you're doing so good. And she says, Oh, no, I don't know. I'm just doing this because I just have passion for it. And I'm like, This is based on passion? She said,
Mm.
Yes. And I'm like, Imagine what this would be if you really had access to knowledge, access to the right.
Yes.
I mean, her farm was looking
Information.
so beautiful. Her farm was looking so, but she said she didn't have access to information. That even her male counterparts who were, farmers in the community were withholding information from her because her farm was doing better than theirs. So they sold
Mm.
her. Some of them asked her to buy the wrong species of things to plant. Some of them just, and she was just. And I'm like, Ma, if this is based on passion, if it whatever it will take to get you knowledge, we'll provide it. Do you see? So we need to be able to educate ourselves, educate our communities. Let's teach them proper food handling, food preservation. What are the good practices? Do you see? Let's teach them how do they make manure. How these are things that we can make organically
Mm.
instead of
Yeah.
baptizing our farms with chemicals and stuff. Let's teach preservation. Oh, this is how to store your stuff when you just harvested for a period of time. There are species, right, of certain vegetables. A species of tomato that will not go bad until after 10 days.
Yeah.
The shelf life is too strong for like 10 days. So these are things these people cannot know these things if they are not constantly getting the knowledge that they need to get to make this work. And I think the last thing that I would say about this question is collaboration. In agriculture, if
Mm.
you want to go far, we don't compete, we collaborate.
Yeah.
Somebody somewhere has something
Yeah.
you need, right? And you have
Yes.
somebody somewhere also needs. But if we're looking at ourselves to say, oh, I don't want my customers to come to you, or I want to have the best produce and the best this, no one person can service an entire market. No one person.
Yeah.
So we need to collaborate to be able to battle this problem of food insecurity and reduce our food wastage. Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic. From what you've just highlighted, I think that there's a lot that needs to go into sort of research on our own end. like research
Yeah.
to help with most of these things that we talked about. And I like how you highlighted that, Africa is not a dumping ground for any experimental thing from the West. We
Yeah.
should be able to sort of create things for ourselves and provide things for ourselves because we have like the resources, whether human capital and even the land itself. We have that.
Mm-hmm.
And also we just need to bridge that with knowledge. Bridge that with knowledge. So thank you, thank you. Our very final and last question is,
All
what advice
right.
would you give to someone who is curious? What advice would you give to someone who is curious about agriculture and does not know where to start? I feel like you've answered this, but just sort of summarize it. What advice would you give someone that is curious but doesn't know where to start? Because you said that there's a lot of value chain. There's so many places. Da, 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 da. So what can they do to start out? A person that's just curious right now. So yeah.
Right. Okay, so my advice would be that start small, start from where you are, right? Start from where you are. Grow something in your background, feed your family with it, or volunteer at a farm,
Mm,
serve. Do you see? Start small. Little drops makes an ocean, right? Start small, start from where you
yeah.
are. You know, I tell people be so good at what you do that you cannot be ignored. Be so good.
Mm,
And you don't become good just by having the skills. You become good by consistently practicing and showing the world what you're capable of. Do you see? So start from where you
yes.
are. Grow something in your backyard. Gift people some of those things when you plant them. Volunteer at a farm, right?
Mm,
Yeah, be learning. Educate yourself is another thing I would say. Attend workshops.
yeah.
Do you see? I was on a call yesterday and I was telling them, I said, see, some of us when we were in school, the only places we went to, the only people we talked to in school were our seatmates in class. And that was all. And I was guilty of that myself. That it was just your seatmate you could talk to in class. You never attended any event in school. You were just there. I mean, these are places where you are able to network. Very important.
Mm,
Attend workshops, meet people, take courses. Sometimes take courses and pay for
mm,
certificates. It's needed. I mean, some of the courses I took
yeah.
today, courses I've taken since I was in school. Pay for courses, take them.
Mm,
And when it expands your head or expands your mind to knowledge, you are able, by the time you're speaking to anybody listening to you knows that no, you've done your homework well. So educate yourself,
yes, you have.
right? And then network, intentionally attend events. Intentionally
Yeah.
attend to the right people. Introduce yourself. I mean, introduce yourself. Let somebody know what you do, what you're interested in doing, right? Network. It's a good opportunity for you to be able to, to be all that you're looking to be, right? I mean, one of the places you can network is the Agric Educators Community, where we are currently building something for people to be
Yeah.
able to have access to mentors and peers. So you can sign up for that, right? Network, intentionally attend events, be out for yourself. Don't just go everywhere and
Yeah.
anywhere. Strategically map out places that the kind of people you want to mingle with will be and go there. Then lastly, be patient. Be very patient. Agriculture requires dedication, but the rewards are worth it. So wait for it. Wait for it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Jasper. When she talked about networking, guys, I met Jasper in African Masterclass series by Ideation Hub. And she was a member of the agricultural think tank, which I was also a member of. And everything she's saying about network, introduce yourself, she had very well introduced herself within our cohort. And I was like, okay, now that I've decided to do this, I think Jesper should be one of the people to reach out to. And that's how I had reached out to her. And it was just like a one dial. I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, oh, sure, I'll come. So guys, she practices what she preaches. Network. Put yourselves in rooms and spaces that look like where you are headed. People that have get into communities, of which she mentioned her community, which would also be something I would say for her to share on. So for anyone, just for anyone that wants to be part of your community, wants to connect with you, wants to hire you as a facilitator to train their community, how can they get in touch with you?
Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, anybody can always reach me on on LinkedIn rather. You could send me a message on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn name is Adedolakpo Magbemi, so you could send me messages on LinkedIn. For the agric education community, I mean, we've been in the works for a while, but we're making it public by next year. Yay! I'm making it public by next year. So
Congratulations on that.
thank you. Thank you. Making it public by next year. And currently, I think we have about 200 and almost 250 people in the community right now. So if you want to sign up, just send me a message on LinkedIn and I could reach out to the team to add you up to the list because we're going to be doing a lot of things next year. You know, having access to webinars. You're going to have access to resource. When you sign up, you get free access to one of my ebooks, right? So it's just going to be us sharing knowledge and advancing. You're going to have there's a part of the program where you have access to a mentor for about a month. You're able to ask any questions of your choice. You're able to walk you through certain projects, and then it's just going to be a lot of things. So just follow me on LinkedIn. I'll be dropping the information, as we progress. Right, as we progress. Yes.
All right, guys, you've heard how to connect with her. Please do send her a message on LinkedIn and then connect with her and also be part of her community. It's been such an amazing time having this conversation with you, Jesper. Thank you for
Thank
being here.
you.
Thank you for spending the last 46 minutes with me. And it's just been a very interactive conversation. David, this is me saying thank you once again. And thank you, everyone that's been on this call today. We look forward.
I can hear you again.